Hi everybody, welcome to City Beat. I am your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are in the KCLV TV studios where our awards are strategically placed behind us. Well, it was another banner year for illegal fireworks here in our community. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Public Information Officer and Education Officer Tim Zemansky said our fire department responded to 175 calls from July 4th through July 5th. 5 houses were heavily damaged, displacing 5 residents. Our 911 center received about 1,400 calls. On a typical day, it's more like 1,000. So, with all of those statistics in mind, it's no wonder that once again this year, our fire department, along with other fire departments in our community, and Metro Police hit the streets one more time, July 3rd and July 4th, to confiscate illegal fireworks. We went out with them last year. This year, in some areas, it was just as bad, if not worse.
It's not that fire and police want to spoil anyone's fun. The 4th of July is meant to be a time to celebrate, but many fireworks are illegal for a reason. Here are a few examples of incidents captured across the country over the years. That's why only safe and sane fireworks are allowed in Clark County. And that's why for the last few years, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, along with other fire departments and Metro Police, have joined forces to crack down on the use of these dangerous explosives. They use a website set up specifically for people to report problems in their neighborhoods called ispyfireworks.com. Using reports from the previous year, they target their patrols in the current year. Last year, there were nearly 17,000 complaints filed on the website, mostly on July 4th. This year, there were more than 27,000.
The iSpy Fireworks is designed to take information from the year previous, put them in a geo map to use it as a hotspot concentration to where we do enforcement, and that's how we approached it this year also. I personally felt like it was all over the city this year and it was heavy everywhere.
Scott Thompson says in many cases people don't really mean any harm. They simply don't think through the ramification of a bottle rocket or a shooting firework landing in an unintended place in the desert or in a crowd.
They go up in the air, bottle rockets and artillery shells. As soon as they leave their tube or whatever they're in, you have no control over them. And it's been windy, it's been really dry, which really leads to a lot of bad things. One thing you got to remember is with it being dry, then you have a lot of fuel for like the palm trees by the houses. Had a lot of houses started on fire because the palm tree started on fire. And even safe and sane can be dangerous if you don't use them correctly.
Now, those who peacefully hand over the fireworks are usually not cited. Those who are not as cooperative can face fines between $250 and $1,000, plus the cost to dispose of them. Just in the city, 30 citations were written. That doesn't include what the county and Metro wrote out. Thompson says this year there were several incidents of property damage due to fireworks, and we may never know how many injuries.
It's not just fires. You also got medical emergencies from people getting burnt, kids. And most of those don't get reported because people self-treat or they go in the ER and they don't say they were doing fireworks. With COVID and everything now, it's, and people that got displaced, they have to live somewhere else now. You can't be quarantined in a house when it is burned down.
Tim Zemansky says for Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, this was the busiest 4th of July in 20 years. Now, another negative effect from the loud fireworks is its effect on animals. The Animal Foundation reports that on Saturday, July 4th, it took in 27 stray animals, another 26 on Sunday, 59 on Monday, and 15 more on Tuesday. During the first 7 days of July, they took in 303 strays, the majority of them running in fear, in their opinion, from the loud fireworks. They waived the fee for anyone coming into the shelter to reclaim their pets. It's actually fortunate that those animals ended up at the shelter instead of injured or killed out in traffic. Well, as we continue to work our way through this coronavirus pandemic, I decided I would go get tested. Not because I was feeling symptoms, but I was curious about the results, but I was even more curious about the process. I also wanted to share it with you, just in case you had not been through the testing process yet, and testing and tracing is very important. So, photographer-editor Eric Sorensen and I headed over to UNLV to get tested. We wanted to let you know what the process was. And yes, we were both in my car, close together. We couldn't socially distance, but we both wore our masks until I had to take mine off for the test.
appointment had been set 2 days prior to our heading to UNLV. It was set for 12:50, and since I didn't know what to expect, photographer, editor Eric Sorensen and I left early, nearly an hour early. And when we arrived, we were glad we did. Are you kidding me right now? Eric's like, We arrived in line at 12:20. From a single file line, we were directed to one of 3 lines going into UNLV's Tropicana garage.
We're just gonna wait till it clears up and then we'll put it through, okay?
Okay. The only thing I would say is it didn't say so on the website, but if you have an appointment, say like I do at 12:50, I just got here early because I didn't know what to expect. I'll be lucky to make a 12:50 appointment because there's so many cars here. It's moving along fairly well, but I'm glad I came early. So there's a hint for you. Come early. While I had early doubts I would even make a 12:50 appointment, we had to admit the line was moving right along and the process was very well organized.
Well, we're actually moving a little.
Yay! I can taste the swab. With your printed out appointment confirmation and your license or photo ID on your dashboard, they meticulously check both several times. After one last check of my ID and appointment, we moved to the testing area. Now, one piece of advice: until they tell you to roll down your window, leave it up. It's for your safety and the safety of the people working at the testing site.
Keep your window up.
They'll have you roll down your window and remove your mask when the test is about to take place.
You can come all the way down.
Okay.
So this is some instructions for you to get your test results back.
Okay.
Test results typically take 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
You can take your mask off. This is an oral exam.
Okay.
So all I need you to do is open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and kind of relax your head back a little bit. You want to look a little bit to your left. All right, I'm going to count to 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. You're all set.
Thank you, sir.
Follow these contacts and have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you. That was the longest 10 seconds of my life. Maybe a long 10 seconds, but worth it, knowing it will help in the long run with testing and possible tracing if positive. Along with social distancing as much as possible and wearing a face covering, being tested is one more tool in the fight against this virus. Doesn't hurt, it's just very uncomfortable and you kind of lose your voice for a minute or two. Right?
Yep.
Tears of joy. All right, 24 to 48 hours, I'll get my results, and they give you instructions on how to look those up. So, all in all, thanks to those on the front lines organizing these tests and our medical professionals conducting the tests, it's amazingly easy.
If your test comes back positive, you are personally contacted within 24 to 48 hours. I was not contacted. This was several weeks ago, so I'm assuming I'm negative. However, if I was positive, that's so important to know, so I could let everyone know who I was in contact with. I could quarantine, they could quarantine, and that's just one way to stop the spread of this virus. If you'd like to make an appointment, go to southernnevadahealthdistrict.org. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a new face for an old angel.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back to City Beat from KCLV TV. Well, for many years, she looked over the Blue Angel Motel in downtown Las Vegas, but as she passed her 60th birthday, she started to look a little bit worn. But thanks to the Centennial Commission, Hartlauer Signs, the city's Operations and Maintenance Department, and our Historic Preservation Officer, the Blue Angel has a new look. In fact, we followed her through the entire renovation process, and she looks exactly the way she looked when she was born 58 years ago.
In April of 2017, people in the vicinity of Fremont and Charleston may have thought they had died and gone to heaven as the 16-foot-tall Blue Angel moved through the air. But it was just the first in many steps to get this hometown icon down from where she stood for 60 years in front of the now defunct Blue Angel Motel, so the process could begin to renovate her back to her original form.
Here, passing her every day, going to work, going to school, I kind of idealize it, thinking that maybe during the weekends they'd say, oh, hey, let's meet under the Blue Angel on Saturday night, figure out where we're going from there. Even after the motel was demolished, she still stood there, and I think that showed her importance.
Historic Preservation Officer Dr. Diane Seabrandt may be fairly new to our city, but her vast experience in history and her love for preserving it make her the perfect person to oversee such a project as the renovation of our Blue Angel. Dr. Seabrandt has been part of many of the logistical meetings with our operations and maintenance crew and the Hartlauer Sign staff who will do the actual renovations. She's a liaison between the hands-on renovation and the city's Historic Preservation Commission and the Centennial Committee, who actually provided a grant for the Angel's makeover.
So my role in this is to make sure that we're following the project from start to finish, that we are seeing the results that the commission has given the grant for, as far as the restoration back to her original design in the late 1950s, and following her process and her final re-erection at the island intersection of Fremont, Charleston, and Eastern.
Another key figure in the Angel's renovation is historian Bob Stodahl. He says a lot of thought and planning has been put into this project to ensure she is put back to her original form.
It's been up there for 60+ years. She's been made over several times. So we are in essence destroying all of that history to get back to its original. And so a decision had to be made. Where do we start? Do we go back to the very, very beginning? We're going to sort of lose all of that history. So we hope we can photograph as we get back to that.
So here's a little taste of her being taken from her first resting spot in the city's West Yard to Hartlauer Signs, the renovation, and her return to what is known as 5 Points, where Eastern, Fremont, and Charleston meet. And as the Blue Angel takes her spot back up on her perch, you can see subtle changes, taking her back to her original state, in her coloring, her gown, even the angle of the delicate wand she now holds.
And her colors were more subdued. Her skin was more of an eggshell kind of color, eggshell white. Her hair was more blonde, not so gold. She didn't have such stark makeup on. And it's important that we bring her back to how she was originally designed and colored, so that, again, the importance of going back to the history of Las Vegas, going back to how she looked in the 1950s and the affiliation she has with the city itself.
Stodahl feels being on this perch, her renovations, will only help energize the renovation of this entire area of downtown.
I think that sends an energy level, a positive energy level to that whole area, and what the city is doing with Fremont Street. So there's a lot of life that is being brought back into Fremont Street, and she really represents that.
The Blue Angel was designed by Betty Willis, and that name probably sounds familiar to you. She's an artist who designed a lot of art in Las Vegas, including the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. We would like to thank Bob Stodahl, Dr. Diane Sebren, Hartlauer Signs, and now retired Michael Mann. He worked for our operations and maintenance department here in the city for many years, and this was a project very close to his heart. I guess you could call this his swan song. Well, here on City Beat back in March, we started a little tradition of featuring photo essays that pertained to the coronavirus. They had a theme. Sometimes they featured our unsung heroes, sometimes families finding unique ways to entertain themselves at home. This one, well, this is just pretty stuff in the city of Las Vegas. Parks we're lucky to have, and places where we can go, don a mask, and escape our troubles, at least for a little while. Thank you to all in the Department of Communications here in the city of Las Vegas for contributing all the great photos over the past few months. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you asked for it, you've got it. We're going to take you inside the new and improved Baker Pool.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant! It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back to City Beat from KCLV TV studios. You know, here in the desert, we're always looking for ways to get outside and exercise, but because of our notorious heat, try to do that while staying cool. Fortunately, the city of Las Vegas has several swimming pools for you to choose from. Well, Baker Pool was a little late to the game, but it has opened. Sue Levitt shows us around the new and improved Baker Pool.
Everyone, we are discovering the fun today from the beautiful Baker Pool that just reopened after some pretty cool renovations. Just as our summer weather really begins to heat up, Baker Pool is welcoming swimmers back, and kids in the area couldn't be happier.
My 6 best friends live within 10 feet of me, so I'm planning on inviting them and that kind of stuff. Since we all live close by and we all live in the neighborhood, we can all come here, and it's more it's a really chill pool.
The pool itself hasn't changed, but the deck around the pool has been upgraded. Shade structures are now in place to offer swimmers relief from the sun. The lifeguards now have this nice area where they can cool down when not watching the pool, and the locker rooms have been fixed up and enhanced.
It's fantastic to have the pool open. We come to the playground next door a lot, we ride our bikes here a lot, and we live in Huntridge and we love the neighbourhood, so it's fantastic to have the pool.
The pool still has diving boards, which are always a big hit with kids and adults. And to kick off the pool reopening, Councilwoman Diaz sponsored a week of free swimming so that patrons could enjoy the pool at no cost.
You know, in light of everything that we're going through as a community with COVID, with schools being closed, and us still kind of sorting through what can we do, what shouldn't we do, and how to keep our family safe. I think this is a bright spot and provides much needed exercise and activities for our families here in Ward 3.
The pool has reopened with safety measures in place. Temperatures are taken, guests are asked to wear masks, and no more than 50 swimmers are allowed in the pool at once.
Even the people that were here yesterday, like, we're going to tell our friends, and so we've had a lot of people that in the neighborhood have stopped by and said they're excited that it's open again.
People are also excited the park next to the pool is open again. Baker Park was closed for renovations and reopened back in November of 2019 with a fresh new look, including this beautiful new playground and these amazing soccer fields. And while you're here, enjoy the awesome splash pads. Lots to do at Baker Park. For more information, you can head over to our website, or of course, you can call 229-PLAY. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for more Discover the Fun.
Baker Pool is located at 1100 East St. Louis near Maryland Parkway. Thank you, Sue Levitt, for that story. Well, here's some good news. City of Las Vegas is hiring part-time positions anyway. I recently sat down with Sharita Rogers, who told us all about Safekey and their search for some part-time assistants.
You know, I know that every municipality has their own Safekey program and all of that, but tell us specifically about the City of Las Vegas's.
Absolutely. So the City of Las Vegas has been providing Safekey and Ignite services, our before and after school program for kids in grades kindergarten through 8th grade for over 30 years now. So we collaborate with the Clark County School District. We support them, and we really work in efforts to serve these children and these families during times when parents may be working or attending school or taking care of other responsibilities for their families. And so we offer specialized programming in a safe, caring, and fun environment. So our programming can include STEM activities, which is the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, as well as some literature efforts. So we also have our Apple Core reading program and our Readers Theater program as well. So we make sure that kids in our program are not just playing, but that they also have opportunities for some educational, some social, emotional learning experiences while they're in our program.
Absolutely. You know, we've done a lot of stories on the Safekey program here at the City of Las Vegas, and it is anything but a babysitting service. These kids have a great time, and they do so much. They have so much fun, they don't even realize they're learning. This program, of course, is across city limits, but are there areas where you're looking more for these assistants, where you're having trouble finding them, perhaps?
So we usually have a need for more staff that are willing to work in the Summerlin area.
Okay, gotcha. What does a site assistant do?
So our site assistants, I'm so glad you asked. It's definitely a fun job. Most people that are in this role, they really love it, and sometimes they don't know what they're getting themselves into until they're there, and then they really just have a good time. But our site assistants, they're responsible for helping with the day-to-day operations of the Safekey program at the site to which they're assigned. So that would include the planning, the preparation, as well as the facilitation of arts and craft activities, recreational games, help with implementing the specialized programming that we offer. They are also responsible for serving a nutritious snack to every child that attends each day that they attend. They also help with the setup and the takedown of any specialized equipment or whatever it is that we may be offering for that particular day, so special events that we have at the sites, as well as following the necessary cleaning and sanitizing procedures that we have set forth by our department. So that is a daily task that they do. And ultimately, all of our staff are responsible for supervising and engaging with the kids. So making sure that the kids are having fun, that they're playing with them, they're reading with them, helping during that homework time, and really just giving them a great experience while they're in the program. Additionally, our site assistants, they do have the opportunity to be promoted to a site leader, and at which that point there are added responsibilities such as communicating with school designees as well as parents and guardians upon pickup and drop off of the students.
Perfect. And I'm so glad you touched on the cleaning, because that's going to be very, very stringent this year. We want to make sure all the kiddos are safe, as well as the staff. So I know there are particular maybe personality qualities you're looking for, but also some minimum requirements. Can you run through some of that for us?
Absolutely. So people that tend to do well in this role usually have a passion for working with children. So you have to be willing to be a caring adult, consistent role model for the child, as well as supporting education and a healthy lifestyle. And so the minimum requirements to be considered for the Safekey site assistant position is that you are at least 18 years of age, that you possess a high school diploma or GED equivalent, also that you have first aid and CPR certification at the time you start working, as well as previous experience working with children. And as you'll see, that there's a full list of all of the requirements for this position.
Right. And I know that you're saying that bilingual skills are not required, but certainly are desirable. So if you are so blessed to be able to speak 2 languages, you might have a little bit of a leg up. Do you have any special tips or advice on things about a person's talents that they should maybe highlight?
You know, I really don't, but again, I'll just emphasize that people that tend to do well in this job, they really have a passion for working with kids. So that's the most important, is that it's really that connection. So being able to have that connection with the children that you're working with. So I would say just do it. If you're thinking about it and you're not sure, go online to the website, check out the application, read more about it. Feel free to reach out to us for additional information. But interview slots do tend to fill up fast. I'd say just do it. Apply today to reserve your spot. Also be sure to check your email on a regular basis, as that's the primary means of communication throughout the process. And again, we're here. That way, if anyone has any additional questions or concerns, they don't hesitate to ask, and we're willing to answer and walk you through that process and answer any additional questions.
So that interview was done live on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I want to thank Sharita Rogers for sitting down with me. And for all of you, if you're thinking about applying, go ahead and do it. We've talked to a lot of the staff with Safekey, and they find the job very rewarding. Well, that does it for another City Beat. We want to thank you for joining us. Stay safe, stay inside when you can, wear that face covering, and practice social distancing, and we'll see you again soon.